Look, everybody loves those rap success stories. Kid comes from nothing, drops a hit, and suddenly, it's cars, chains, mansions, the whole Instagram flex. But what they don't tell you is how often that money was never really theirs. Labels push these 360 deals where they cover videos, studio time, even the lifestyle, but it's basically a loan. You're out there spending what feels like free money while they're taking cuts from your music, tours, merch, everything. A lot of these artists keep posting like it's all good, but behind the scenes, the checks slow down and the debt piles up. It's a tough cycle that catches a lot of talented people off guard, especially when they come from environments where every dollar feels like it might be the last one. Take Blac Youngsta, for example. He came up in South Memphis on McMillan Street, one of those blocks where life is rough and options are few. Worked at a grocery store, sold drugs to get by, lost people close to him, then started putting all that pain and frustration straight into music. From 2012 to around 2014, he was grinding out those fast brick mixtapes on his own. No big machine behind him, just raw energy that you could feel even if the production wasn't polished. Then, Heavy came along in 2015, and it hit different. It had that Memphis bounce, the kind that rattles your car windows. And Yo Gotti heard it, jumped on the remix, and brought him into CMG. That was a real turning point. Suddenly, he had infrastructure, better promotion, connections, a crew that knew how to move in the industry. His first official mixtape Under Them, I Swear to God, had features that opened doors, and from there it was non-stop. Mixtapes like Young and Reckless and Fuck Everybody kept the buzz alive. He linked up with Travis Scott on Coordinate, which was huge for visibility. Then, Hip Hopper with Lil Yachty went gold. And Booty did the same. By late 2017, he signed with Epic Records. One of those major label moves that feels like you've made it. His album 223 charted on the Billboard 200, had big names like Travis, Yachty, French Montana, and 21 Savage on it. Church on Sunday followed with even more guests: T, Moneybagg Yo, DaBaby, Wiz Khalifa. Endorsements with Puma and Fashion Nova came through. He started Heavy Camp as his own imprint under CMG, invested in some real estate, and was moving merch. That famous moment, pulling $200,000 cash out of Wells Fargo to buy a car, with bank employees so shook they called the police thinking it was a robbery. That went viral and summed up the flex era for him. People were estimating his net worth somewhere between 10 to 15 million at the peak. Generational type money, if handled right. I think a lot of folks from similar backgrounds see that and assume it's locked in forever, but the reality is more fragile than it looks. The problems started stacking up around the same time the money was flowing. The beef with Young Dolph wasn't just some rap diss thing, it had layers of label loyalty, street politics, and geography in Memphis. Dolph was independent with Paper Route Empire, talking that boss talk, while Youngsta was solid with Gotti and CMG. It created tension that spilled over. In 2017, during Chia Weekend in Charlotte, that shooting incident where over 100 rounds hit Dolph's SUV led to Youngsta facing serious felony charges. He turned himself in. The case dragged for years before getting dropped in 2019, but the lawyer fees alone must have been brutal. Then other run-ins. Guns in a bag in Houston, another stop in Dallas with a handgun on him late at night. Each one meant court dates, bonds, top attorneys eating into the bag. We're probably talking hundreds of thousands, maybe more over time. November 2021, when Dolph got killed, Youngsta dropped a diss track and a video that hit nerves, and the internet went wild. Public perception shifted hard. Brands got cautious. Streams took a dip. Rumors about CMG distance started flying, even if they denied it at first. The later murder trials mentioning connections to the whole scene didn't help the image either. On top of that, losing his brother Tamanuel in 2023 was devastating, not just emotionally but practically, because family support networks in that world matter a lot, and grief can kill creative focus for months. New projects like For Life in 2022 or the Black Sheep tapes and Heavy Camp Checkmate later on didn't recapture the old magic the same way. His catalog still gets plays, but fresh momentum slowed. Now, estimates float around a couple million or less depending on what assets he held onto. Real estate was a smart move in theory, but legal battles probably forced some tough sales or loans at bad rates. It's one of those situations where you look back and see how loyalty, street expectations, and the legal system can quietly drain what you built. Whether the beef was avoidable or not, the financial cost was real, and the industry doesn't wait around while you sort it out. Now shifting over to Polo G, his story feels a bit different because it happened faster and in a more melodic lane that blew up huge online. This guy came out of Cabrini Green in Chicago, turned real trauma into music that connected with millions. Early on, Pop Out with Lil J went platinum, then Die a Legend went gold, The GOAT hit number 2, and Hall of Fame debuted at number 1 with big first week numbers. Rapstar topped the Hot 100 Rare Air for a Chicago artist. He had features with Juice WRLD, Lil Wayne, Roddy Ricch, and that vulnerable storytelling style stood out in a sea of tougher sounds. At 22, he was in position most rappers dream about, but keeping that level is harder than getting there. Reports say he went through something like $12 million on jewelry, cars, supporting family, and the circle around him. Rap income comes in bursts, but expenses don't stop when the hits slow. Legal troubles hit momentum hard. Arrests in 2023 involving his brother Trench Baby on serious charges like kidnapping and robbery, plus guns, delayed albums, and tours. Hood Poet finally dropped in 2024, but only moved around 24,000 first-week units, way down from before, and didn't chart strong. The deluxe version with 40 tracks didn't even hit the main Billboard. Monthly listeners dropped off, no big viral singles. Lately, and newer sounds in rap passed some of that emotional melodic space. Then you see him on live stream asking the chat for $5 gifted subs, looking confused about how monetization works now, which is a wild contrast to gifting strangers 10 grand on video sets a few years back. European tour cancellations led to lawsuits that got settled later, adding more costs. Family drama and repeated legal stuff made it tough to keep the narrative clean for fans. I think one thing people underestimate is how much those real-life events mirroring the music can blur the line between artist and story in a way that hurts when things go south. At 26, he's still got the talent, melody, depth, that Chicago pain in his voice, but momentum is everything in this game. Streaming rewards daily engagement, community building, consistent drops, and he got caught in the legal loop instead. Building a real interactive fan base on Twitch or whatever takes skills beyond just rapping, like being on camera, comfortable, managing chats, all that. It's a different muscle. The $12 million run-through highlights how fast money from the street psychology can lead to spending without protecting the principle. Entourage, expectations, family needs, flashy lifestyle. It adds up quick when the royalty checks aren't what they were. His story is still unfolding, though. Some recent singles show flashes, and if he can settle the legal side and refocus on business, prime years are still ahead. But it shows how quick the window closes if you don't build independent revenue streams early. Blockboy. JB's situation hits close to that Memphis energy too, and feels even more like the streets pulling back hard. Born in 1996, raised in a big family with his dad locked up most of his life for serious charges, mom holding it down for 7 kids. He dropped out in 10th grade, worked McDonald's and Popeyes, warehouse jobs. Got into small-time stuff like BB gun home invasions as a teen. Even did a month in prison at 16. Linked up with Tay Keith early, grinded SoundCloud, dropped Who Am I, and tracks like No Chorus Part 6 that started gaining traction. Then, Alive, with Drake exploded top 5 on Hot 100. That dance went viral worldwide. Fortnite even used it. Drake flying to Memphis for the video felt like validation on another level. For a kid from that background, it must have seemed like the ultimate come up, but the infrastructure wasn't fully there to sustain it. Legal issues kept coming. That incident where troopers found him asleep at the wheel in his Mazda, gun on his lap, weed around, charges for obstruction, felon in possession, revoked license. Mental health struggles played out publicly, depression, the pull of the same blocks he came from. The quick fame without enough business knowledge or support system left him exposed. One viral moment can generate revenue for others more than the artist if publishing and ownership aren't locked in tight. Tay Keith's own success showed what consistent collaboration could do, but JB's personal troubles interrupted that flow. Naming himself after his dad was probably a tribute, but also a constant reminder of cycles. It's heavy when you think about it. Brief god status, then back to the same environment testing you daily. Talent and charisma are still obvious when he drops stuff, but rebuilding requires breaking some patterns that run deep. These cases aren't isolated at all. In 2026, you see the same threads running through a lot of rap stories, especially from certain cities. Rapid rise from poverty without financial education means sudden money feels like it needs to be spent fast to prove you're out. Legal systems hit harder with priors or street associations. Even cases that get dismissed drain you with defense costs, bonds, time away from creating. Beefs cost way more than pride. They bring invisible blacklisting from promoters, venues, playlists. Family burdens add up too. Supporting relatives, funerals, community expectations that come with success in the hood. For Black Youngsta, the CMG scrutiny after trials probably affected bookings and brand value for everyone tied in. Polo G's melodic vulnerability built a huge emotional connection, but made the fall feel more personal when life events lined up too close to the lyrics. Block Boy JB's dance moment was organic gold, but fleeting without deeper catalog or team around him. Lil Mosey fits the pattern too from what was mentioned earlier. Early streaming success. Legal issues around allegations that hurt his image, label shifts, dips in numbers. The streaming economy doesn't forgive inconsistency, and algorithms push whatever's hot right now. Older hits keep paying royalties, but they don't build new equity the same way. Post-label independence requires marketing skills, content consistency, positivity, or at least stability that chaos makes hard. I notice how many of these artists talk about loyalty like it's everything, and it is in the streets, but in business, it can limit options when rooms get uncomfortable. Labels recoup advances aggressively, tours lose money if legal stuff cancels dates, and mental health takes hits that aren't talked about enough. Broader lessons feel important here. Wealth preservation isn't taught in the environment most of these guys come from. You need trusted advisors, not just yes men. Diversify early into things that appreciate real assets, not just jewelry that depreciates. Own your masters and publishing when possible. Build direct fan lists for email or text monetization so you're not fully at the mercy of platforms. Therapy and sober networks help with the psychological side because the highs and lows are extreme. Long-term successes like Jay-Z or Bianca built empires outside pure music, clothing, businesses, management, and kept cleaner public images for brand deals. Street authenticity opens doors, but can close them just as fast when it turns into liability. For younger artists coming up now, financial boot camps and deals, artist collectives for shared resources, mentorship that covers business, not just bars could change things. Looking at 2026, the game moves even quicker with social media and AI tools affecting discovery. Consistency on multiple platforms matters more. Polo G could pivot to producing for Chicago talent or acting to create passive income. Black Youngsta has resilience and a loyal Memphis base. Clear strategy on independence might help him rebuild. Block Boy JB has that raw energy. If he stabilizes personally, the talent can carry him back. These stories should spark real conversations in hoods and label offices, not just views for drama. It's not about judging the decisions made under pressure. A lot of us would struggle the same in those shoes. It's about recognizing patterns so the next wave has better tools. The dream is real, but holding onto it means evolving past the rules that got you there in the first place. Survival in rap's trenches takes more than talent. It takes learning the business while staying true enough to keep creating. These guys are still out here dropping music and pushing forward, which says something about grit. Somebody watching this chasing their own bag needs the full picture before the bill shows up unexpected. No, Cap, it's a manual in a lot of ways. Expanding on that, think about how personal observations from inside the culture add layers. I've seen friends or folks in similar circles blow up quick, then face the same legal tax on success. One small traffic stop turns into thousands in fees and lost studio time. For Black Youngsta, that $200,000 flex wasn't just showing off. In Memphis, coming from McMillan, it probably felt like proving you'd escaped for good. But cash moves like that draw attention, both from streets and authorities. The Dolph situation, complicated as it was, shows how geography and crew loyalty can box you in financially for years. Even after charges drop, the perception lingers and affects deals. His real estate plays were forward-thinking, buying property to build equity, but liquidity crunches during trials likely meant selling at bad times or high-interest loans that chipped away at the principal. Grief from multiple brothers lost isn't just emotional, it's added costs, lost support, and creative blocks that delay income. Catalog reliance means old fans stream heavy or booty, but new generations want fresh vibes, and delivering that amid chaos is tough. Independent grind post-CMG demands social media savvy, video editing, brand collab skills not everyone picks up naturally from the block. With Polo G, the Chicago drill to mainstream jump brings its own pressures. Entourage bloat is common. Cousins, friends, security all expecting their cut once money flows. That $12 million estimate probably includes a lot of that, plus gifts and lifestyle inflation. Delayed albums gave space for other melodic artists to fill the void, especially as tastes shifted toward faster trap or experimental sounds. Tour lawsuits add another debt layer. Legal back and forth eats time and focus. Transitioning to streaming as primary income requires building parasocial bonds, daily lives, gaming streams, vulnerability on camera, which clashes with the brand built on rising above streets. At his age, though, reinvention is possible. Joint ventures, sync licensing for his melodic style in film or ads, or mentoring younger voices could create steadier revenue. The live stream moment with subs highlights a gap in understanding modern fan monetization. It's not shame, just a sign that the old model of album drops and tours isn't enough anymore without community infrastructure. Block Boy JB embodies that. Tragic. Memphis duality, incredible musical soil producing stars, but tough ground with violence and limited options chewing talent up. His dad's story hanging over him, prison escape. Just to see him as a kid, created deep identity stuff. The viral dance was pure organic genius, no heavy marketing needed, but fleeting without owning the full rights or building a catalog around it. Tay Keith partnership had potential for long synergy like on bigger tracks, yet personal troubles paused it. Repeated gun and traffic issues point to unresolved trauma. Maybe coping habits showing in things like sleeping at the light. Industry loves one-hit or viral moments, but moves on quick when drama surfaces. Mental health posts on socials, while honest, can scare off collaborators or brands wanting low risk. Redemption is possible if he locks in with better support, therapy, business managers, breaking cycles. But reality stays harsh for many. Zooming out across all 3+ similar cases, the 360 deal structure often sets artists up as perpetual debtors. Advances look like blessings but recoup from multiple revenue streams, leaving little upside until paid off. Streaming payouts are tiny per play unless you're in the top tier, so volume and consistency rule. Street legacies bring authenticity that fans love, but expose ongoing legal risks that banks and partners avoid. Family and crew expectations drain resources fast, without boundaries. Broader culture could push better solutions, mandatory financial literacy in label contracts, artist unions for negotiating power, destigmatizing mental health resources in HUD pipelines. Labels offering post-deal coaching or equity incentives beyond the initial splash might retain talent longer. Successful models show owning masters, diversifying into spirits, tech, management, or fashion creates buffers. Street cred is an asset until unchecked. It becomes a liability in boardrooms. For 2026 and beyond, younger rappers should focus on publishing ownership from day one, building email and SMS lists for direct drops and sales, investing in content creation skills for YouTube, TikTok, whatever's next, therapy access, sober circles, and advisors who aren't yes men make a difference. These falls from Black Youngsta's legal and perception hits, Polo G's momentum loss and family complications. Blockboy JB's personal pulls aren't inevitable, but they're predictable without shifts in approach. Their stories, messy as they are, can inspire if the next chapters show growth. Culture needs to treat them as cautionary without losing the celebration of come-ups. Pay attention, share the real breakdowns, because somebody grinding right now needs this before chasing the bag blindly. It's survival in the trenches, and the game keeps evolving. These artists are still breathing, still creating that resilience matters. The full picture reminds us, talent gets you in the door, but wisdom and strategy help you stay and build something lasting.